Welcome to Everyday Simple Somatics, a podcast dedicated to helping you find healing through your body's natural wisdom. I'm Dr. Christine Baker, and I'll be your host. Well, it's New Year's Eve. And I have to tell you, as I prepared to record this episode, I was feeling pretty emotional, and not the sad emotional, but honestly, this really grateful emotional. Because this year, 2025, has been such a full year for me and for my family. And I don't just mean busy full, though it was that too. I actually mean full in a lot of different ways, full of growth, full of a lot of change, full of hard, full of messy, and full of moments that have really shaped me and how I show up in my family in really profound ways. And I'm guessing that could be true for you too. 2025 held things worth acknowledging, right? Maybe it was hard, maybe it was messy, maybe it didn't go the way you planned. But I'm willing to bet that there were also moments of goodness, moments of growth, moments that deserve to be recognized before we rush into whatever 2026 holds for all of us. So today, on this last day of 2025, I want to do something a little different. I actually want to take this time during this episode to reflect on this year, what it held, what we learned, what we're carrying forward from it, maybe even what we're leaving behind. And then I'm going to teach you a somatic practice for actually holding gratitude in your body, not just thinking about it, not just saying, I'm grateful for ... but letting it actually settle into your nervous system as a resource. Because here's what I've learned. If we don't pause and acknowledge what was good, our nervous system won't register it. It just becomes another year that's passed by. And this year deserves more than that. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Christine Baker, a licensed professional counselor with 13 years of experience in trauma recovery. I'm also a somatic experiencing practitioner, which just means that I'm a person that believes strongly that mental health healing comes through addressing the stuck places in the body, specifically the nervous system, hence the creation of this podcast. My hope is that these short, symptom-based episodes will offer you practical skills to build into nervous system rhythms of care that become as natural as brushing your teeth. Because while it's great to go have a one-off session with an SEP, where change really happens is when we use these nervous system skills on a consistent basis in our lives. And that is my hope for everyone who listens to this podcast. And if this resonates with you, I'd love to invite you to like and subscribe to this podcast on whatever platform you're currently watching or listening. All those little clicks really do help other people find this community, and I so appreciate it. So if it's okay with you, I'd love to start by sharing some of my own gratitude for 2025, because I think it's important to model this practice. And honestly, I think I need to do it for myself too, just to pause and acknowledge what this past year has held. So first, my family moved back home this year, back to Georgia, back to Marietta, the town I grew up in. We actually moved back onto the same street that Austin and I used to live on. We bought this house, this gorgeous house that, I kid you not, guys, when I used to walk Riley as a baby, in her little stroller around the neighborhood, we would walk by this house and I would always say, man, I wish we could live in that house. It's so beautiful. And now we do. It's just such an incredible gift. It kind of blows my mind every time I walk up the front stairs to come inside. In the midst of this move, another gratitude I'm holding is that my kids really love their schools. Riley's in first grade, Ellie's in kindergarten, Aiden's pre-K 3, and just watching them make new friends, come home excited about their days, all of the little magical things that are happening at their schools. It's just a really tender thing for me as a mom, and I'm just incredibly grateful that they are as happy as they are here. Obviously, the move came as a result of a job transition for my husband, and job transitions are always such a big journey to go through, particularly when you're in ministry. And so that process was a lot, and I'm just incredibly grateful for the space that we've landed in. The church community has been so kind. Our new pastor and his wife are amazing. And so to see him coming home so energized and excited about the role that he's currently in has been just an incredible joy. And then for me personally, kind of spoken about everyone in my life except for me so far, I think that the thing I'm really grateful for myself is just moving into more intentional balance. I totally identify as a recovering workaholic. And this past year, I've been very intentional about trying to create rhythms of work home, family, and rest. And anyone who follows me on social media knows that I am not perfect at it. I still have weeks where I overschedule myself and say yes to too many things, but I'm getting better. And I really can feel that like in my nervous system. One example is, y'all, like previous to moving back home, I think I would work almost every night after the kids went to bed until like 10:30. And after moving here, I think I've maybe worked after kids have gone to bed, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 nights over the course of 7 months. That is a huge change, and I am incredibly grateful for that, just taking those baby steps, that titrated approach away from working all the time and really striving to be more present for my family, but also more present just to rest and recovery for my own nervous system. And then there's this podcast, right? The podcast you're listening to right now started in January 2025. Episode 1 went live on January 1st. And honestly, y'all, I had no idea if anyone would listen. I just knew I wanted to make nervous system education accessible. I wanted people to have these tools, even if they couldn't commit to super expensive therapy or 3-year-long training programs. And the beautiful thing is you showed up. And as of today, I went and looked at some numbers. December 21st, we have almost 1,300 subscribers on YouTube, over 2,000 plays on Apple Podcasts, and more than 6,000 streams on Spotify. We've released 35 episodes this year, including this one. Obviously, I took a pretty big break there during our move, but then came back. And every single week that I get to do this show, sharing this work that I love with all of you is an incredible gift. And just to remind you of some of the episodes we've done, the basics of the nervous system in those first 10 episodes, like what is somatic therapy? What is a nervous system? What is fight, flight, and freeze? And then we moved into these really specific symptom-based episodes, like how to stop panic attacks and reconnecting to your body after dissociation, or breaking free of people pleasing, finding your voice, overcoming decision paralysis. I think we have covered some really tender topics like processing disappointment, or healing from shock trauma, or grief that won't move. We've talked about relationships. Why do we keep having the same fight with our partner? How do I stay regulated during arguments? What is co-regulation in the relationships I'm in? And every single one of those episodes represents a real struggle that people are facing. And getting to offer these very practical tools, getting to say almost every week, your nervous system isn't broken. Here is what is happening scientifically, and here is what you can do about it. That has been the honor of my year. So that is my gratitude. That is what 2025 held for me. And I want to invite you to pause and do the same. You don't have to say it out loud necessarily unless you want to. But internally, I want you to take a few moments and reflect on your 2025. I'm going to offer you some prompts, some questions to consider as you do this reflection. And I'll make sure to include these in the show notes if you want to, copy them down and do some journaling. But the first question is, what changed for you this year? Maybe it was a move like mine, or a job change, or a relationship shift. Maybe it was more internal, something in how you see yourself or how you relate to your body or your emotions. What did you learn? What do you know now that you didn't know at the beginning of 2025? What wisdom did this year give you, even if it came through hard experiences? In the midst of all of that, who showed up for you? Who were the people that made this year easier, safer, more bearable, more joyful? Take a second to name them and write down how they supported you. What are you really proud of? What did you do this year that took courage? What boundaries did you set? What hard thing did you choose? What growth did you make, even if it was small? What brought you joy this year? What were those simple moments, the ones that might not seem like a big deal, but actually lit you up inside? Maybe a certain conversation, or hearing the birds chirp, or a sunset. What is one thing that you want to acknowledge about how you showed up this year? Even if it was messy, even if it wasn't perfect, how did you show up for yourself, for your healing? And as you think through all of these, just take a moment, feel your feet on the ground, take a breath, and just let yourself reflect. And as I've been preparing for this New Year's Eve episode and thinking about this move into 2026, I realized something. Most of us will skip right over the gratitude part and jump straight into resolutions. We don't pause to let our nervous systems register and allow us to embody what was good in the year we just passed. We immediately start thinking about what we need to fix or change next year, which, just to do a little mid-episode teaser here, is why I want to host a free class called Regulation Before Resolutions, because I want us to start 2026 differently, from a place of regulation and groundedness and intention, rather than from shame or urgency or overwhelm. And so I'll share more details about that at the end of the episode. But for now, just know that that information's coming. It is going to be a free class open to whoever wants to join. So you've got your list of gratitude. Let's do the somatic part, because it's one thing to think about gratitude, mentally list it out, write it down, but it's another thing entirely to let that gratitude settle into our bodies and into our nervous systems. Dr. Rick Hansen, who studies neuroplasticity, talks about how positive experiences need to be held for at least 10 to 20 seconds to actually encode in our nervous system. Otherwise, they just pass us by. So let's practice holding for a bit that gratitude somatically. So first, just find a comfortable position. If you're sitting, feel your seat in the chair, or if you're standing, feel your feet on the ground. I always love that holding, that core holding of a hand on the heart, hand on the belly, just whatever feels supportive to you. Maybe it's even like a little self-hug. And just take a few slow breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth, just letting your body settle a little. We're just creating a little bit of space to be able to actually feel. And once you've got a sense of that, I'd love for you to choose one thing from your reflection that you're grateful for in 2025. Just one. Could be something big, like a move, a new relationship, or it could be something small, like one of those moments or realizations that you had. Whatever it is, just hold that one thing in your awareness. Don't analyze it too much. Just hold it kind of gently there. And when you do that, I want you to just notice where you feel it, which might seem like a strange question, but gratitude does have a physical sensation. So you might feel warmth in your chest, or a softening in your belly, or a gentle expansion, like your torso's kind of opening up or getting a little more space. Maybe there's even tears or a lump in your throat, or maybe there's even a feeling of being held, or just energy and aliveness in your body. There's no right or wrong here. Just notice wherever that gratitude lives in your body. And if you don't feel anything, that's okay too. Sometimes our nervous systems need permission to feel good. So just keep your hands maybe on your heart, on your belly. Keep breathing, keep staying present. And maybe you could even just notice how that feels nice to be held, by your own hand on your heart and your own hand on your belly. And now, wherever you're feeling that sensation, that warmth, that softness, that expansion, I want you to imagine that we could turn the volume on it up just a little, just like a couple of notches, not forcing anything, just allowing it to be a little bit more full. So maybe you take a deeper breath to allow that warmth to spread, or maybe you let that softness kind of sink in a little bit more. Maybe you let yourself feel a little more full or a little more held. And as you do this, you might even say out loud, I'm letting this settle in for me. Or this is what goodness feels like inside, or this matters, this year mattered. And as you do this, I just want you to continue noticing your breath for a few more breaths. We're really installing this gratitude into your nervous system, installing this resource. It's kind of like we're saying to your body, remember this. Remember that 2025 held good things. Remember what growth feels like. Remember what it feels like to be held, to feel safe, to have moments of joy. This is how we build a nervous system that can register positive experiences, not just negative ones. So if it feels okay, take one more deep breath. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes or shift your attention back to the room. And just notice how you feel now after doing that practice. And you can do this with as many of the items on your gratitude list as you have time for. So that's the practice. Reflection, somatic gratitude. And my hope is that you take this into tomorrow, into 2026, that you don't rush into this new year with this long list of resolutions, that you actually pause to acknowledge what 2025 held, what you learned, how you grew. Then, as you do start to turn your attention towards 2026, I want to tell you about something I'm really excited about. So, tomorrow, I will be sending out to whoever would like it a free class called Regulation Before Resolutions. And it's all about how to set intentions or goals for the new year that your nervous system agrees with, which means your body has a higher chance of actually keeping. Goals that are grounded in your body and in your capacity, not just your thinking brain, in your full system. We're going to do a somatic check-in together. We're going to learn how to ask your body what it actually needs and create intentions that feel like acts of care rather than acts of punishment. And it's completely free. The link to sign up is in the show notes. If you are listening to this after New Year's Eve, you can still sign up. The video will just be sent to you automatically versus if you sign up today on New Year's Eve, it will be sent to you tomorrow morning. Would absolutely love to have you be a part of this community by joining us for this class. And as I close out, I just want to say again, thank you so much for being here with me. It means so much that you take time to listen to this podcast, that you trust me with your nervous system, and that you're showing up for your own healing. It has been an absolute honor to walk with all of you this year. And here is to season 2, 2026. Here's some more regulation, more presence, more connection, more tools to help us navigate this beautiful and messy world. And so for the last time in 2025, remember, your body has innate wisdom. All we have to do is learn how to listen to it. And that's what I'm here for. I'll see you next time.